There was a time when the world was not as quiet as it feels tonight, while you lie on your bed, waiting for sleep to gently pull you into its soft darkness. Once, time itself behaved like a restless child who could not sit still, always weaving new mysteries, creating new turns, shaping new destinies. And the humans we now casually call ancient people also tossed and turned during long nights, just like you do. Except their restlessness had a different color, because they knew that the earth beneath their feet, the sky above their heads, and the wind flowing between their fingers were all filled with secrets, messages, warnings, and stories waiting to be understood. And every secret came with a price. The first truth of history is that humans always dreamed. Whether they were the first cave dwellers staring into the glow of a tiny flame, or modern souls staring at glowing screens. How strange it is that those people whom we call primitive were actually sharper, more observant, and more connected to the world than we are. They watched every movement in the night sky, every glimmer of starlight, every shifting shadow. Because for them, the sky was not just beauty, it was a map, a warning system, a guide that told them when to move, when to hunt, when to sleep, and when to stay alert. Imagine the very first moment a human being ever looked at the moon. They didn't think it was just a giant rock circling the earth. They believed it was a living guardian, silently watching them through the darkness. History begins the moment a human raises their head toward the sky and whispers the first big question: who made all this? That question alone is what separates a human from an animal. Humans didn't only want to survive, they wanted to understand why they were alive. Even now, when you sit alone at night, the silence deepens around you, as if the walls themselves have paused to listen, and Shane people felt the same thing, except they had no certainty that the silence would remain safe. Wild animals were messengers of danger. Rivers carried warnings, and the trembling branches of trees told them storms were coming. Nature was speaking to them constantly, and learning how to read these signals was the first university of humankind. Thousands of years ago, when humans finally learned how to control fire, that moment was not just about warmth, it was the first time they felt safe enough to sleep. Light meant protection, and protection meant rest. In the flickering glow of flames, they saw shapes dancing on the cave wall, shapes that felt like stories forming on their own. Children sat in their mother's arms, staring at those moving lights, realizing that everything in the world was always in motion. The sun moved, the moon moved, the seasons moved, animals moved, the earth moved, and even the fate of a person moved with them. When humans discovered that stories could be told, not just experienced, that was the moment history took its first real breath. Your habit of listening to a calm story before sleeping isn't a modern comfort. It's in your blood, written deep inside you by thousands of years of ancestors who survived long nights by telling tales. Those ancient stories were not bedtime entertainment. They were survival manuals, emotional shields, and philosophical searches. Some stories explained why humans existed. Some told why morning always returns, and others asked whether light comes after death or only darkness. Every early story was actually the first spark of human curiosity. Tonight, you listen to this script to fall asleep, but back then, they listened to stories to stay alive. Sleep and history are surprisingly connected. Sleep is where the mind becomes still. while history is where the mind wakes up. Yet both are journeys into the unknown, one inward and one backward. The first civilization, the first language, the first belief system, they all form the same way dreams form in your mind, without a plan, without structure, but filled with meaning. When a human drew the first line on a cave wall, it wasn't art, it was a declaration that memories should exist. That desire to remember is what turned wandering tribes into cultures, and cultures into civilizations. Have you ever wondered why humans created names? Names for themselves, for the sky, for the rivers, for mountains, for stars, even for their fears and hopes. Naming something means claiming it, understanding it, and connecting with it. The moment humans felt the need for identity, they also felt the need to belong to groups, to families, to stories, to gods, to the earth. And so they named the stars, believing every light in the sky was a guardian or a storyteller. They named the winds, thinking invisible spirits moved with the breezes. They named the land beneath their feet because they believed the earth itself could hear them. Dreams, fears, and stories slowly shaped their understanding of the universe. Even now, when you feel a strange pull toward ancient tales, it is not coincidence. History calls out to those who are ready to listen, just as it called out to them. The first page of history is not written in words, it is written in the human mind with the first spark of wonder. Before tools, before weapons, before cities, there was only one thing, a question that grew into fire, into tools, into boats, into rituals, into myths, and eventually into civilizations. History began with curiosity, expanded with courage, and survived with memory. The world around you may look modern, but beneath every building, every street, every object, the heartbeat of ancient time still echoes. You may not hear it during the day, but at night, when everything is silent, history wakes up. It breathes in the shadows of your room. It whispers through the stillness. And tonight, as you listen to this first chapter, you stand at the doorway of time itself, ready to step into the oldest corridors of the human story, where the world was young, the stars were closer, and every mystery was waiting to be discovered. Long before history was written in books, carved on stones, or recorded in scrolls, it was written across the sky, and the people of the ancient world understood this better than anyone, because every night, when the deep darkness stretched above them, they felt as if the sky was alive, watching them, whispering to them, guiding them, and sometimes warning them. And although today we look at stars simply as distant suns scattered across a massive universe, the earliest humans believed each star was a lantern held by unseen guardians who kept watch over the world while everyone slept. And this belief was not born out of fear, but out of wonder. Because in those ancient days, when no cities existed, no artificial lights glowed, and no noise polluted the silence, the night sky was unimaginably vast, brighter than anything you have ever seen, stretching like a giant river of glowing dust shimmering across the heavens. And it was in this silent brilliance that humans found their first teachers. The stars told them when seasons would change, when rivers would flood, when animals would migrate, and when danger was near. And this cosmic language became the world's oldest calendar. Imagine a small tribe sitting together on a cold night, the fire crackling softly beside them, while an elder with a voice as ancient as the earth raised his hand toward the sky and traced patterns that only time could teach, patterns we now call constellations. To you, they may look like random dots, but to them they were living stories. Warriors, hunters, queens, serpents, chariots, birds, and spirits that protected the world. These constellations were the first maps guiding travelers across deserts, mountains, and oceans. They were also the first storytellers, giving shape to the fears and hopes of humanity. When a child in the ancient world asked, "Where did we come from?" the answer often began with the stars, because people believed that humans were made from the same light that glowed above them. The night sky was not just a backdrop. It was the origin of everything. Think about how quiet it must have been back then. No cars, no machines, no electricity, only the whisper of the wind, the hoot of an owl, or the distant howl of a wolf. That silence was the perfect canvas for imagination. People gazed at the stars for hours, wondering what existed beyond them. And the more they wondered, the more stories they created. Some stories explained creation, some explained destruction, and some explained the meaning of life. These stories gradually became myths, and myths became belief systems. Every civilization, whether Egyptian, Greek, Chinese, Sumerian, or Mayan, began by looking up. They all saw different shapes, different gods, different destinies, but they all agreed on one thing: the sky was sacred. And because the sky was sacred, the night was never just darkness, it was a bridge between humans and something far greater. You might think ancient people feared the darkness, but that fear was mixed with fascination. In fact, the night was their classroom. They learned the rhythm of life through it. When crops should be planted, when storms would come, when prey animals would travel, all could be read in the stars. Even the phases of the moon were lessons. A full moon was a time of security and celebration. A new moon, a time of caution. People believed that the moon controlled the tides of oceans and the tides of human emotions. To them, a person's mood was often guided by the sky. And in a way, that belief still exists today, even though we rarely admit it. Humans have always felt a deep connection to the cosmos, a kind of invisible string that ties our lives to something infinite. The stars also served as companions for lonely travelers. Imagine a young hunter walking miles from his camp, the earth cold beneath his feet, the night sharp and silent around him. The only things guiding him were constellations passed down through generations. As he walked, he didn't feel alone, because he believed the stars traveled with him, protecting him. They were his silent friends. Night after night, humans watched the sky and slowly realized that everything followed a pattern. The sun rose and set. The moon grew and shrank. Constellations moved at certain times of the year. This predictability was comforting. It meant the world was not chaos. It had structure, order, meaning. From this realization, the earliest scientific thinking emerged. Humans began to track star movements, marking them on stones or in the dirt. Over centuries, these simple marks became the world's first astronomy. Temples were built to align with the rising of specific stars. Entire cities were planned based on celestial events. Even the Great Pyramids of Egypt were aligned with Orion's belt and the North Star, proving how deeply ancient people connected the heavens with human life. Yet, for all their knowledge, they never lost their wonder. Even the wisest elders believed there were mysteries beyond human understanding. They believed the sky was not just physical, but spiritual. Some tribes taught that souls became stars after death. Others believed gods traveled across the sky in chariots of light. Some said that when a shooting star streaked across the night, it was a message, either a warning or a blessing. Every tribe, every culture, every generation added its own layer to the sky's meaning. And in doing so, they created the foundation of religion, philosophy, and science. You, lying here tonight with your eyes growing heavier as this story unfolds, are connected to them in a way you cannot see but can definitely feel. Your ancestors stared at the same stars you do. They dreamed under the same sky. They feared the same shadows. They searched for the same answers. The night sky has been a silent witness to every human emotion: fear, hope, grief, curiosity, and it has absorbed them all. When you look up at the stars, you are not just seeing light, you are seeing the memories of humanity. In the ancient world, bedtime was not just rest, it was a ritual. People often slept outside under the open sky, watching the stars until their eyes closed naturally. Every night felt like a conversation with the universe. They believed the stars spoke in a language the heart could understand even when the mind could not. This belief made them calmer, wiser, and more connected to life. And maybe that is why, even today, when you close your eyes at night, a part of you feels lighter, as if something deep inside recognizes that nighttime is not just for sleeping, it is for remembering who you are. In those days, the sky did not just inspire, it shaped civilizations. From sailors navigating oceans, to nomads crossing deserts, to farmers predicting seasons, everyone depended on the stars. But just as the stars guided human life, humans gave meaning to the stars. They created stories about heroes battling monsters, lovers separated by fate, gods shaping destinies from above. These myths traveled across generations until they became traditions. And those traditions turned into the foundations of cultures. Even now, you can find traces of these ancient beliefs in modern festivals, rituals, holidays, and even bedtime stories. The stars have never stopped influencing human imagination. They have always been there, steady and patient, waiting for each generation to rediscover their magic. And tonight, as you listen to this chapter, you are joining a chain of dreamers that stretches back tens of thousands of years. You are lying beneath a sky filled with stories, wisdom, and memories older than every city, every empire, every idea. And though the world has changed beyond recognition, the stars remain the same, silent, eternal, glowing softly like gentle guardians watching over your sleep. This is why the night sky is the oldest storyteller in existence. And now, as this part of your journey through ancient history ends, the stars that once guided entire civilizations now gently guide you toward rest, whispering the same ancient truth, that you are part of a story far older and far bigger than you can imagine. Before humanity learned to build cities, raise temples, or carve their names into stone, they first learned to listen to the world, to each other, and to themselves. Then this simple act of listening became the foundation of civilization. For long before written communication existed, long before alphabets shaped languages, long before kings and empires fought over land and power, there were only voices carried by the wind, stories whispered around fires, and shared memories born from the need to understand life. Imagine, for a moment, a world without noise, no engines humming, no crowds shouting, no machines vibrating, just the crackle of fire, the rustle of leaves, the soft beating of a human heart. In that silence, every sound mattered. A child's laugh, a mother's lullaby, a hunter's footsteps, and an elder's story. As tribes gathered at dusk, their voices became threads that wove the earliest tapestries of culture. People learned not only to speak, but to express feelings through rhythm, tone, and melody. And these early expressions eventually shaped the first forms of music. It is easy to forget that music began not with instruments, but with breath. Someone, thousands of years ago, probably hummed to comfort a crying child. And that innocent hum became the seed of a universal language shared by all humans. But communication did not stop at sound. Movement became a form of expression. Before there were dances taught in ceremonies or rituals, there were natural gestures, the pointing of a hand toward danger, the slow lowering of arms to signal peace, the sudden clapping to call attention. Humans began to understand that when sound and motion joined together, they formed meaning deeper than either alone. And meaning was the fuel that helped civilization grow. When early groups realized they could share memories through stories, they discovered something powerful. Knowledge could survive even after a person died. Stories became bridges between generations. Mothers told their children about storms, seasons, danger, love, and spirits. Elders spoke about origin myths, heroic hunts, and long journeys. Some stories taught survival, others taught morality, but all of them carried pieces of human experience. These stories were not fiction. They were the first tools used to pass wisdom down without losing it. Think about how remarkable that is. Before writing, before books, before schooling, the world's education system was storytelling. And every night, tribes relied on these stories to preserve their identity. The more they shared, the more unified they became. Slowly, tribes evolved into communities. Communities evolved into settlements. Settlements became the first sparks of civilization. But to reach that point, humanity needed something more: structure. And structure began with spoken agreements, rules, traditions, and shared beliefs. These early systems of cooperation were fragile, but they worked because people valued the collective strength of the group. If one person hunted alone, survival was difficult. But if 20 hunted together, survival was guaranteed. Shared voices created shared purpose. As time passed, humans discovered that certain individuals had stronger memories, clearer voices, or deeper understanding than others. These individuals became the first leaders, not warriors or kings, but storytellers, healers, and observers who kept the group connected. They spent their nights studying the sky, the movement of animals, the flow of rivers, and the patterns of the seasons. Through observation, they learned to predict weather migrations and harvest cycles. Their predictions brought stability. Stability brought trust, and trust brought power. It was these early knowledge keepers who laid the intellectual foundation for civilization. Though they lacked formal titles, they were caretakers of wisdom, guardians of rituals, and protectors of collective memory. Their voices carried weight in every important decision. They taught others how to make tools, build shelters, and protect themselves from enemies. They were the first teachers, and teaching became humanity's most powerful inheritance. As groups grew larger, communication became more complex. New sounds formed new words. New words formed new ideas. Ideas formed new systems. Language evolved not by accident, but by necessity. Every tool, every plant, every animal, every place needed a name. Naming things gave humans control. Without language, there could be no organization. Without organization, no progress. Think of a simple example: fire. A spark in the dark becomes light. Light becomes safety. Safety becomes time to talk, think, plan, dream. Fire created evenings. Evenings created stories. Stories created culture. And culture created identity. Over generations, these identities shaped different clans, tribes, and eventually civilizations. Yet even as they grew apart, they were united by a single truth. The voice was their most powerful tool. The first gatherings around fire were more than casual meetings. They were the earliest forms of government. People discussed food, distribution, conflict resolution, migrations, hunts, and future plans. These gatherings represented the birth of collective decision-making. Humans learned that no single person could survive alone. Survival was a group achievement. With this understanding, cooperation became instinct. Slowly, rituals emerged. Rituals were repeated actions that gave meaning to life. Some celebrated birth, others honored the dead. Some asked the sky for rain, others thanked the land for harvest. Rituals gave people emotional structure, something stable in a world that could change overnight. And when rituals were repeated for generations, they transformed into traditions. Traditions eventually shaped the earliest belief systems. People began to imagine higher power spirits in the wind, guardians in the mountains, ancestors watching from above. These beliefs helped communities stay united during hardships. When danger came, they found comfort by reminding themselves that they were protected by forces they could not see. This spiritual connection made them feel part of something larger than themselves. As time passed, humanity grew more ambitious. They learned to tame animals, cultivate crops, and build permanent homes. Families settled in one place instead of wandering endlessly. Villages formed. Trade began. People exchanged not only goods, but ideas. A tool made in one region could inspire an improved version in another. A story told in one settlement could evolve into a myth in the next. The world slowly connected through shared voices. But even as progress surged forward, the essence of civilization remained the same. Communication, memory, cooperation. When you look at modern cities today with skyscrapers, traffic, digital screens, and millions of people moving at once, it is easy to forget that every bit of it began with simple, human voices echoing across ancient landscapes. Every law, every invention, every structure, every culture originated from early humans sharing knowledge during quiet nights under open skies. And as you lie here now, letting your breath slow, letting your mind drift, you can almost feel those ancient voices whispering across time. Because deep inside you, the memory of early humanity still lives. The instinct to listen, the instinct to tell stories, the instinct to seek connection. These instincts are not modern traits. They are ancient blueprints encoded into your being long before you were born. You are made of the same curiosity that drove early humans to gather around the first fires. You are shaped by the same longing for meaning that led them to create the earliest stories. And you are guided by the same inner voice that helped them build the first steps toward civilization. As this part of the journey ends, imagine those early people sitting by their fires, their voices rising into the night, merging with the starlit silence, each voice a spark, each spark a memory, each memory a piece of the great human story that continues through you tonight. In the silent corridors of ancient time, where forgotten civilizations breathed life into the foundations of the world we know today, Chapter 2 begins with a deeper journey into the hidden structures of power, belief, and survival that shaped humanity's earliest societies, a world that existed long before the comforts of modern life, where every decision, every ritual, and every law carried the weight of destiny itself. And among these societies, none were as intriguing, mysterious, or quietly powerful as the ancient Mesopotamians, who carved their existence between the two great rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, constructing not just the first cities, but the first systems of organized life, including written laws, structured religion, astronomical records, and even military strategy, all of which formed the earliest blueprint for civilization. And as we step into their world, we discover not only the rise of kings and the creation of cities, but the daily struggles of ordinary people whose routines, fears, and hopes were the bricks of a new human identity. Because civilization, even in its earliest form, was not built by rulers alone, but by thousands of hands that worked fields, maintained temples, wrote on clay tablets, and prayed to gods whose moods they believed shaped every event around them. And as we explore this early chapter of human complexity, we encounter royal courts that made decisions capable of changing the fate of entire kingdoms, and priestly institutions whose influence extended far beyond religious rituals, controlling knowledge, education, and even early forms of scientific understanding. Since in ancient Mesopotamia, the temples were not just places of worship, but powerful hubs of economics, storage, agriculture, and governance, functioning as centers where grain was measured, contracts were recorded, and land disputes were judged, making the priests some of the earliest bureaucrats and scholars in human history. And while the rulers wore crowns and issued commands, the priests interpreted the signs of the heavens, believing the gods revealed their intentions in the stars. And their observations led to one of the earliest calendars, carefully tracking time for religious festivals, farming cycles, and political ceremonies, showing that the birth of civilization was not merely a result of human ambition, but a careful balance between fear of the unknown and desire for control, between human creativity and the mysteries of nature around them. And the everyday world of Mesopotamia was equally fascinating, filled with rhythmic patterns of labor, trade, celebration, and ritual, with markets buzzing with merchants trading grain, wool, pottery, beads, and metal tools, while scribes recorded every exchange on clay tablets, leaving behind thousands of documents that allow us to glimpse how people lived, fought, loved, and struggled thousands of years ago, reminding us that while technology has changed, human emotions and desires have remained strikingly similar across millennia. And as the chapter advances, We witness the rise of powerful city-states like Uruk, Lagash, and Babylon, each ruled by kings who balanced political authority with religious expectations. Kings who often declared themselves chosen by the gods, using divine legitimacy to strengthen their power, a recurring theme in nearly every ancient kingdom. And among these rulers, some became legends, not just for their victories, but for the monumental structures they built, such as the ziggurats' towering temple pyramids that reached toward the heavens, constructed to honor the gods and display the might of the city, monumental enough to inspire later myths like the Tower of Babel, showing that even myth carries the echoes of real structures and real societies. And while power rose in these grand cities, life in the countryside carried its own challenges, with farmers battling unpredictable floods, droughts, and rising salinity in the soil, often praying desperately for rainfall or for the rivers to stay within their banks. And these struggles shaped the earliest laws, because communities needed rules to deal with conflict, theft, land disputes, marriage, inheritance, and trade, leading to the creation of legal systems like the Code of Hammurabi, one of the earliest known law collections, which attempted to bring order to a world constantly at risk of chaos. And yet, even with these laws, life remained unpredictable, and people relied heavily on omens, dreams, and rituals to guide their choices, believing the gods communicated through signs everywhere in the flight of birds, the pattern of stars, the interpretation of animal livers, and even in unexpected weather, proving that the boundary between religion and daily life was non-existent. Everything was connected, everything carried meaning, and nothing was dismissed as coincidence. And as we continue through the deeper layers of this ancient world, we uncover the lives of artisans who crafted intricate jewelry and pottery, soldiers who defended city walls, slaves who served in temples and palaces, women who played important roles in commerce and household management, and children who learned reading and writing from clay tablets, practicing repeatedly the early wedge-shaped symbols of cuneiform, which would become one of humanity's most influential writing systems, enabling stories, laws, contracts, and history to be preserved for thousands of years, a feat that oral societies could never match. And through this written record, we gain not only knowledge of ancient economics and government, but also profound stories like the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the first great works of literature, a tale of kingship, friendship, adventure, and the eternal human search for meaning, proving that even in the earliest cities, humans wrestled with questions about mortality, destiny, and the purpose of existence. And as Chapter 2, Part 1 closes, we stand in awe of a civilization that rose from mud, brick, and imagination, from the fear of nature and the desire to conquer it, from the instinct to survive and the dream to create something that would last beyond a single lifetime. And it is here, in the dusty plains between two rivers, that humanity learned to write, to rule, to build, to trade, and ultimately to imagine futures far beyond its present, laying the foundation for every civilization that would come after it, and reminding us that even the most boring histories, when examined closely, are filled with extraordinary stories, hidden struggles, and innovations that shaped the entire course of mankind. In the unfolding depths of ancient civilization, Chapter 2, Part 2 takes us even deeper into the fabric of Mesopotamian life, revealing how the earliest cities were not just centers of power and religion, but vibrant hubs of innovation, conflict, cooperation, and human ambition, where every street, every marketplace, every temple courtyard, and every palace hall carried an energy that shaped the destiny of countless generations. Because in a world without modern technology, survival and prosperity depended entirely on the collective effort of communities and their ability to adapt to an unpredictable landscape. And as we step into the dusty pathways of a Mesopotamian city during its golden age, we discover a society pulsing with activity from dawn until night, with farmers entering the city gates carrying fresh grain and wool, merchants unloading goods from distant lands, scribes rushing to record transactions, priests calling for rituals, and rulers summoning advisors to discuss taxation, warfare, or diplomatic alliances, creating a dynamic society where every class, from slaves to kings, played an essential role in maintaining the delicate balance that allowed the kingdom to flourish. And central to this balance were the complex irrigation systems that defined Mesopotamian agriculture. Systems built with remarkable engineering skill, using canals, levees, reservoirs, and gates that directed the flow of river water to nourish fields, support livestock, and aid in construction. And although these systems were essential for survival, they required constant maintenance and cooperation between villages, leading to early forms of community management, public works, and regional planning, demonstrating that civilization was not simply about building cities, but about building systems that allowed humans to control nature in a way never attempted before. And beyond agriculture, commerce played a critical role in shaping the identity of these early societies, with trade networks stretching across mountains, deserts, and seas, connecting Mesopotamia to regions such as Anatolia, Egypt, Persia, and the Indus Valley, enabling the exchange of metals, precious stones, spices, timber, and ideas. And this flow of goods created prosperity, but also competition, as powerful merchants began influencing city politics, temple economics, and even international relations, revealing a world where economic power often rivaled religious or royal authority. And as trade expanded, cities grew wealthier, leading to increased specialization of labor, with artisans mastering crafts that became symbols of cultural identity, producing intricate jewelry, polished stone carvings, engraved cylinder seals used to sign official documents, woven textiles dyed in rare pigments, and exquisitely shaped pottery that showcased not only artistic skill, but early scientific understanding of materials, heat, pressure, and design. And these artisans, though often overlooked in grand historical narratives, were among the silent architects of civilization whose work preserved the beauty, values, and symbols of their society for thousands of years. And while prosperity and innovation thrived, the city was also a place of tension and conflict, with social inequalities forming between classes, leading to disputes over land, labor, inheritance, and trade. And this created the need for legal systems that could maintain order, resolve disputes, and enforce justice. And among the most famous of these systems was the Code of Hammurabi, a monumental legal achievement inscribed on a massive stone stele containing laws that addressed crime, property, marriage, business, and social hierarchy, with clarity and severity, reflecting the rigid structure of Mesopotamian life, where justice was harsh but predictable. And this predictability was essential in a world where personal feuds could erupt into violent conflict without a system to govern behavior, proving that law was not merely a symbol of authority, but a tool for societal survival. And behind the scenes of these legal and political developments were the temples, enormous institutions that managed land, stored grain, organized trade, educated scribes, and conducted elaborate rituals meant to maintain divine favor. And these rituals were essential because Mesopotamians believed their gods controlled every aspect of existence, from fertility and weather to war and wealth, and displeasing the gods could bring famine, flood, or foreign invasion, leading priests to perform ceremonies involving music, incense, sacrifice, and prayer rituals that shaped the rhythm of daily life and were often accompanied by astronomical observations used to interpret the will of the heavens, showing how religion, science, and governance were deeply intertwined. And yet, while priests interpreted the stars, ordinary people turned to household gods for protection, placing small clay figurines or carved amulets in their homes, believing these guardians watched over families, ensured safe childbirth, protected against illness, and warded off evil spirits, revealing a spiritual world rich with symbolism, superstition, and emotional connection, where faith was both deeply personal and fundamentally communal. And as the chapter progresses, we witness the rise of powerful kings who sought to expand their influence through warfare, diplomacy, and monumental construction, building massive city walls, canals, temples, and palaces that not only protected their people, but also displayed their authority. And these rulers relied on armies equipped with bronze weapons, chariots, shields, and disciplined infantry formations, soldiers who trained rigorously to defend borders, suppress rebellions, and conquer rival cities, making warfare an integral part of Mesopotamian politics and shaping territorial boundaries for centuries. And while kings fought battles, diplomats played equally important roles, negotiating treaties, alliances, and trade agreements with neighboring powers, exchanging gifts, ambassadors, and marriage alliances to secure peace or gain advantage, forming an early international system where diplomacy and soft power were as valuable as military strength. And among all these grand forces, the heart of Mesopotamia remained its people, individuals whose daily routines reveal the beauty and complexity of early civilization. Mothers preparing meals over clay ovens, shepherds guiding flocks along riverbanks, fishermen casting nets at sunrise, potters shaping clay on turning wheels, teachers instructing young scribes in dimly lit schools, doctors applying herbal remedies and spiritual rituals to heal patients, and children playing with small clay toys or games carved into stone floors, reminding us that even the oldest civilizations were filled with laughter, struggle, dreams, fears, and moments of joy that connect them to us today. And as the day ended, the city would transform under the deep blue of night, with oil lamps glowing in homes, guards patrolling the city gates, scholars studying star patterns from rooftops, and priests preparing offerings for midnight rituals, creating an atmosphere where mystery, tranquility, and human ambition merged into a single living tapestry. a world illuminated not just by the flickering light of lamps, but by the brilliance of a civilization discovering its identity. And Chapter 2, Part 2 closes with the realization that Mesopotamia was not just the birthplace of writing, law, and urban life, but a living example of how human creativity, cooperation, and conflict combined to shape the earliest foundations of society, laying the groundwork for languages, governments, religions, economies, and cultural traditions that would echo across continents and centuries, proving that even in the most ancient past, humanity possessed the same fire of imagination and determination that drives us today. We step away from the foundations of Mesopotamian civilization and into the broader, evolving world of ancient humanity, where new kingdoms rose, old empires fractured, and cultural boundaries expanded across continents, creating a dynamic and interconnected ancient landscape shaped by ambition, exploration, innovation, and the constant search for dominance. And Chapter 3, Part 1, opens with the dawn of an era when civilizations began looking beyond their own borders, seeking wealth, land, power, and knowledge from distant regions, a period marked by dramatic expansions, shifting alliances, and the rise of legendary cultures whose influence still echoes across the modern world. And to understand this transformative age, we start with the ancient Egyptians, a civilization flourishing along the Nile River, whose stable environment, predictable floods, and abundant resources allowed them to develop one of the most visually stunning and spiritually rich societies of all time. A society founded on strict hierarchy, monumental architecture, divine kingship, and a worldview deeply tied to the cycles of nature, where the pharaoh was not merely a ruler, but a living god whose authority shaped every aspect of life. And from the fertile fields of Lower Egypt to the golden sands of Upper Egypt, the land pulsed with activity. Farmers harvested grain, artisans crafted intricate jewelry, and scribes recorded religious texts that would later become the foundation of Egyptian mythology, revealing a world where the forces of order and chaos battled constantly, a cosmic struggle reflected in the everyday lives of the people. And as Egypt grew in wealth and influence, it built monumental structures like the Great Pyramids of Giza, architectural feats that required thousands of laborers, skilled engineers, and a vast administrative system capable of planning, organizing, and feeding entire workforces, demonstrating not only Egypt's architectural genius, but also its advanced understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and engineering, as each stone was placed with extraordinary precision, aligned with celestial bodies and sacred geometry designed to honor the gods and secure the immortality of the pharaohs. And while Egypt flourished along the Nile, powerful civilizations emerged elsewhere, such as the Hittites in Anatolia, who mastered iron production and developed advanced military strategies, allowing them to build a formidable empire capable of challenging Egypt itself, resulting in the famous Battle of Kadesh, one of the largest chariot battles in history, where both empires clashed not for destruction but for dominance, ultimately choosing diplomacy over annihilation, creating one of the world's earliest recorded peace treaties, a document demonstrating that ancient diplomacy was as sophisticated and strategic as warfare. And beyond Egypt and the Hittite realm, the Aegean world witnessed the rise of the Mycenaeans, a warrior society whose palaces, trade networks, and early Greek culture laid the foundations for future legends like the Trojan War and the heroic tales of Achilles, Odysseus, and Agamemnon. Stories that would later shape Western literature, but were rooted in real conflicts, political struggles, and cultural exchanges between the Mycenaeans and neighboring powers. And at the same time, to the east, the Indus Valley civilization experienced its own period of transformation, as cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro shifted from their peak of organization and cleanliness into phases of decline, influenced by environmental changes, shifting rivers, and evolving trade routes, highlighting once again how delicate the balance was between nature and civilization, and how even the most advanced societies could face collapse when environmental systems changed. And further east, in the vast lands of China, the Shang dynasty reached new heights in bronze casting, divination, warfare, and urban development, creating a kingdom ruled by ancestral worship and oracle. Bone rituals that revealed the earliest known forms of Chinese writing, an extraordinary cultural breakthrough that connected politics, religion, and communication into one unified system, showing that even in different regions, civilizations were developing parallel innovations that shaped the future of humanity. And as these diverse cultures evolved, trade routes began connecting them more closely, forming early networks that carried goods, ideas, technologies, and stories across mountains, deserts, and seas, with merchants braving dangerous journeys to exchange silk, spices, metals, timber, gemstones, and luxury items, creating a global flow of wealth that strengthened economies but also sparked competition, conflict, and alliances among kingdoms eager to control these profitable routes. And through these interactions came cultural exchanges, architectural styles, religious concepts, artistic techniques, and scientific knowledge that enriched societies and helped shape their worldview, proving that ancient civilizations were not isolated worlds, but part of a larger, interconnected human story where influence, learning, and conflict crossed borders constantly. And as Chapter 3, Part 1 continues, we explore the internal dynamics of these civilizations, examining the role of religion as a tool of unity and power, as rulers claimed divine authority to legitimize their rule. Priests shaped politics through prophecy, and mythologies explained natural events through the actions of gods and spirits, weaving spiritual beliefs into every aspect of daily life, from agriculture and warfare to marriage and kingship, creating societies where religion was not separate from governance, but the foundation of law, morality, and identity. And alongside religion, we see the increasing importance of writing, which emerged in different forms: hieroglyphics in Egypt, cuneiform in Mesopotamia, oracle bone script in China, and became the backbone of administration, diplomacy, historical record, and cultural memory, enabling civilizations to preserve knowledge, codify laws, and transmit ideas to generations that would never meet the original writers, making writing one of humanity's most powerful inventions, a tool that shaped the mental and political landscapes of the ancient world. And with writing came literature, not only epic tales like Gilgamesh, but hymns, prayers, wisdom texts, royal decrees, medical treatises, and astronomical guides, texts that reveal the complexity of ancient thought, showing that early civilizations possessed deep philosophical questions about fate, justice, morality, life, and the afterlife, proving that even thousands of years ago, humans were not only surviving, but thinking, creating, questioning, and dreaming. And as populations grew, economies expanded, and political systems evolved, the ancient world became increasingly competitive, with nations forming powerful armies, building heavily fortified cities, and engaging in strategic warfare designed not only to conquer, but to intimidate, protect trade routes, defend borders, and display power to both allies and enemies. And through these conflicts, new technologies emerge: stronger weapons, faster chariots, improved armor, siege devices, and defensive architecture, marking the beginning of organized, large-scale warfare as a core element of civilization, a force that shaped borders, toppled dynasties, and redirected the course of history. And yet, despite the intensity of these external and internal pressures, the ancient world remained a place of extraordinary beauty, creativity, and resilience, filled with vibrant festivals, colorful markets, artistic masterpieces, family traditions, and communities bound together by shared stories, beliefs, and values, showing that civilization was not only built by the great rulers, but by countless ordinary people whose daily lives formed the true foundation of ancient society. And as Chapter 3, Part 1 comes to an end, we stand at the threshold of a world in transition, where kingdoms rise and fall, cultures blend and clash, ideas travel across continents, and humanity moves steadily toward a more connected, complex, and ambitious future, setting the stage for the next part of the journey, where the ancient world continues to evolve, innovate, and redefine what it means to be a civilization. The ancient world transitions into a period of expanding horizons, where civilizations not only strengthened their internal structures, but also extended their influence outward through exploration, cultural exchange, economic ambition, and military expansion, creating a vibrant and competitive global environment where power was constantly shifting. Ideas were traveling farther than ever before, and human societies were redefining what it meant to be a kingdom, an empire, and a civilization. And at the center of this transformation were the networks of trade that connected distant regions across land and sea, forming the early foundation of international commerce, with merchants braving treacherous mountains, scorching deserts, unpredictable storms, and pirate-infested waters to transport essential goods such as spices, textiles, metals, wine, olive oil, ivory, gold, incense, and pottery. And beyond physical goods, these routes circulated philosophies, religious beliefs, artistic techniques, mathematical systems, and agricultural practices, making the ancient world a vast, interconnected mosaic of cultural exchange. And among the most influential traders were the Phoenicians, a seafaring civilization that mastered shipbuilding and navigated the Mediterranean with unmatched skill, establishing colonies from the Levant to North Africa, and even reaching the shores of Spain. And through their maritime expertise, they connected multiple cultures, spread their alphabet, which would later evolve into the one used by much of the modern world, and left an enduring legacy as the greatest naval traders of their era, proving that economic power could rival military force in shaping regional influence. And while the Phoenicians ruled the seas, the Assyrian Empire rose to dominance on land, building one of the most formidable military machines in ancient history through discipline, innovation, and sheer ruthlessness, employing iron weaponry, advanced siege engines, cavalry units, and psychological warfare to conquer vast territories stretching from Mesopotamia to Egypt, and under their kings such as Tiglath-Pileser III, Sargon II, and Ashurbanipal, they constructed magnificent cities filled with libraries, palaces, temples, and gardens, showcasing the cultural sophistication hidden behind their fearsome reputation. Yet their empire, massive and powerful, was not immune to internal rebellion, overextension, and pressure from rising forces like the Babylonians and Medes, reminding us that the greater an empire becomes, the more fragile its foundations may grow, and parallel to the Assyrian rise. The kingdom of Israel and Judah developed into influential cultural centers in the Levant, where monotheistic beliefs took root and laid the foundations for later Abrahamic religions, shaping moral values, legal principles, and spiritual worldviews that would influence billions of people across future millennia. And as religious traditions evolved, Egypt experienced its own cultural shifts, particularly during the reign of Pharaoh Akhenaten, who attempted a revolutionary transformation by promoting the worship of a single deity, Aton, in place of Egypt's traditional pantheon, a dramatic change that disrupted established religious powers, altered artistic styles, and temporarily reshaped spiritual life, though the experiment collapsed after his death, leading Egypt back to its former traditions and demonstrating how even rulers considered divine could not always reshape deeply rooted beliefs. And while Egypt struggled with internal changes, the city of Babylon experienced a golden age under King Nebuchadnezzar II, who rebuilt the city into a marvel of the ancient world, complete with towering walls, grand processions, astronomical observatories, and the legendary Hanging Gardens, a symbol of human creativity and architectural mastery, whether myth or reality. And Babylon also became a center of scientific progress, where astronomers studied planetary movements, mathematicians refined numerical systems, and scribes recorded knowledge that would influence future civilizations. And further east, the early Persian tribes gradually unified under the leadership of Cyrus the Great, whose wisdom, diplomacy, and military skill laid the foundation for what would become the Persian Empire, a multicultural superpower that would reshape the ancient world by uniting regions from Asia Minor to India, introducing innovations like standardized currency, an efficient road system, and a model of governance built on tolerance, respect, and administrative brilliance, setting a new standard for imperial rule. And beyond these major powers, smaller kingdoms played essential roles in shaping the global network, such as the Lydians, who introduced the world's first coined money, revolutionizing trade and creating economic systems that allowed markets to flourish, influencing commerce across continents and transforming how societies measured wealth, value, and exchange. And in the Aegean, following the decline of the Mycenaeans, Greece entered its archaic period, a time of intellectual awakening, political experimentation, and artistic growth, where city-states like Athens, Sparta, Corinth, and Thebes developed unique identities, government systems, and social structures that would later evolve into models of democracy, military discipline, philosophy, and cultural excellence, shaping Western civilization and setting the stage for future legends such as Solon, Lycurgus, and Pythagoras. And across the Mediterranean, early Italic tribes were settling in the region that would eventually become Rome, unaware that their small communities would one day give birth to one of the greatest empires in human history. A reminder that even the most powerful civilizations often begin as modest settlements shaped by geography, necessity, and the ambition of ordinary people. And while empires expanded, new military technologies continued to change the nature of warfare. From iron-tipped spears and composite bows to improved armor, chariots, and siege towers, making battles more organized, destructive, and strategic, and armies increasingly relied on formations, discipline, supply networks, and logistics, showing that war was evolving into a science as much as a display of raw strength. Yet alongside conflict came creativity, as ancient societies experienced flourishing developments in music, literature, sculpture, architecture, sports, and fashion, with artisans creating masterpieces from bronze statues and carved ivory to painted pottery and embroidered textiles, while poets, musicians, and storytellers entertained both commoners and royalty, proving that even in times of war, humans continued to celebrate beauty, culture, and artistic expression. And in the midst of this cultural richness, families, farmers, laborers, and merchants maintained the essential rhythms of life, raising children, planting crops, preparing meals, participating in festivals, honoring their gods, and preserving traditions that defined their identities, demonstrating that behind every grand empire stood millions of ordinary people whose daily efforts sustained their societies. And as knowledge spread across borders, scientific advancements accelerated, with astronomers charting constellations, mathematicians solving complex equations, physicians experimenting with herbal remedies, and engineers designing improved tools, weapons, and architectural innovations. And while their understanding was limited, their curiosity was boundless, driven by a desire to explain natural forces, predict celestial events, and improve the practical realities of life. And as Chapter 3, Part 2 concludes, we find the ancient world more connected than ever before, shaped by trade, diplomacy, warfare, religion, and cultural exchange. A world where powerful empires rose and fell, where brilliant minds pushed the boundaries of human knowledge, and where the foundations of modern civilization were laid through centuries of struggle, innovation, ambition, and creativity, setting the stage for even greater transformations in the chapters to come. The ancient world reaches a critical phase where civilizations that once flourished independently now encounter the accelerating forces of globalization in its earliest form. A complex network of political alliances, trade, cultural exchange, and military conquests that together shaped the destiny of humanity in ways both visible and subtle, revealing the intricate interplay between power, innovation, and adaptation that defines the progress of civilizations. And at the forefront of these changes were the great empires of the Near East, where Babylon, Persia, and Assyria vied for supremacy, each utilizing a combination of military innovation, administrative sophistication, religious authority, and cultural influence to secure dominance over vast territories. Recognizing that true power extended beyond borders and required an understanding of diplomacy, infrastructure, communication, and the loyalty of diverse populations. And in Babylon, rulers like Nebuchadnezzar II invested in monumental architecture, astronomical observation, and urban planning that transformed the city into a hub of intellectual, religious, and cultural activity, while also implementing strategies to manage trade, population, and resources across a sprawling empire, exemplifying the early integration of governance, culture, and economy in ways that would inspire future civilizations. And simultaneously, the Persian Empire under leaders like Cyrus the Great and Darius I exemplified a new model of imperial governance, emphasizing cultural tolerance, standardized taxation, the creation of efficient road networks, postal systems, and regional governance through which allowed unprecedented coordination across diverse regions, facilitating commerce, communication, and control over a vast and culturally complex population. And these strategies became foundational models for later empires in Europe, Asia, and beyond. And while political centralization grew, military innovation continued to evolve rapidly as armies incorporated new weapons, formations, siege machinery, cavalry units, and disciplined logistics, enabling empires to project force across continents and defend borders, while simultaneously fostering an environment where strategic thinking, intelligence gathering, and diplomacy were as important, highlighting the emergence of warfare as both art and science in the ancient world. And beyond the battlefield, trade networks expanded dramatically, connecting Mesopotamia, Egypt, the Indus Valley, the Mediterranean, and the Aegean, facilitating not only the exchange of goods such as spices, textiles, metals, pottery, timber, and luxury items, but also ideas, technologies, religious beliefs, and artistic traditions, creating an early cultural globalization that allowed civilizations to influence each other in ways that shaped languages, legal systems, architecture, and religious practices across regions. And these interactions fostered mutual learning while also generating competition, rivalries, and political tensions. And in the Aegean, the Greek city-states continued their development, cultivating unique forms of governance, philosophy, artistic expression, and civic organization, with Athens pioneering democratic principles, Sparta exemplifying military discipline, and smaller city-states experimenting with oligarchic or hybrid systems, all of which demonstrated the variety and adaptability of human social structures and set the foundation for ideas that would later influence the political thought of Western civilization. And while these political systems evolved, intellectual achievements flourished across civilizations, with mathematics, astronomy, medicine, engineering, literature, and philosophy advancing at remarkable rates, as scholars observed natural phenomena, recorded historical events, experimented with remedies and techniques, and debated moral, metaphysical, and ethical questions, reflecting an insatiable human curiosity and the desire to understand the world beyond mere survival. And simultaneously, religion continued to play a central role in shaping both personal and political life. From the monotheistic traditions emerging in Israel to the polytheistic practices of Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, and Persia, demonstrating the diversity of spiritual thought and the profound ways in which belief systems guided social norms, legal frameworks, cultural expressions, and personal identity. while also inspiring monumental architecture, rituals, and festivals that reinforced communal cohesion and the legitimacy of rulers. And alongside these cultural, political, and economic developments, ordinary life thrived in extraordinary ways, with farmers cultivating fields, artisans producing intricate works of art, merchants traveling treacherous trade routes, soldiers defending territories, and families nurturing children while passing down knowledge, beliefs, showing that civilization was sustained as much by daily life and personal endeavor as by kings, emperors, and armies, proving that the foundation of history is built upon the collective efforts of countless individuals. And yet, as prosperity and connectivity increased, civilizations faced mounting challenges, including environmental pressures such as soil salinization, drought, floods, and shifting river courses, which threatened agriculture and food security, as well as internal social tensions arising from class disparities, labor demands, and political centralization, all of which forced rulers to adapt policies, enforce laws, invest in infrastructure, and negotiate complex social relationships, demonstrating that the success of a civilization relied on the careful management of both human and natural systems. And as this chapter progresses, we also witness the role of cultural exchange in fostering innovation and resilience, with artistic styles, architectural techniques, literary motifs, and religious practices spreading across regions, enriching societies and creating hybrid forms that blended local traditions with external influences, illustrating that contact, even through conquest or trade, often generated creative synergy and long-lasting cultural transformation. And in education, writing continued to evolve as both a practical tool for administration and a vehicle for intellectual and artistic expression, enabling the recording of laws, historical events, scientific observations, literature, religious texts, and philosophical inquiry, and providing civilizations with the ability to preserve knowledge across generations, support complex governance, and shape the collective memory of societies, emphasizing that literacy and record-keeping were essential pillars of human progress. And as empires expanded and cultures intertwined, monumental architecture remained a visible testament to ambition, creativity, and organizational skill, from towering ziggurats and pyramids to fortified palaces, observatories, and temples, structures that combined engineering mastery, aesthetic vision, and religious devotion, reflecting a universal desire among ancient peoples to leave a lasting mark upon the world, immortalizing both leaders and society as a whole. And finally, as Chapter 3, Part 3 draws to a close, the ancient world stands revealed as a dynamic, interconnected, and multi-layered environment where political power, economic activity, cultural exchange, intellectual curiosity, religious devotion, artistic creativity, military innovation, and human resilience all intersected to shape the course of history, creating patterns, lessons, and legacies that would influence successive civilizations, reminding us that the forces which shaped the ancient world, ambition, curiosity, adaptability, cooperation, and conflict, remain just as relevant today, bridging the millennia and illuminating the enduring story of human civilization. The ancient world transitions into an era defined by the rise of classical civilizations, an age in which human societies increasingly demonstrated sophistication in governance, philosophy, art, architecture, science, and military organization, creating cultural and political frameworks that would influence generations for millennia. And the story of this period is one of innovation, adaptation, and enduring human ambition, where empires and city-states not only competed for dominance, but also cultivated intellectual, artistic, and spiritual achievements that revealed the depths of human creativity. And central to this transformation was the rise of the Greek city-states, which evolved from small, fragmented communities into organized polities with distinct identities, political structures, and social systems. Each city-state navigating its own challenges while interacting with neighbors through alliances, trade, warfare, and diplomacy, demonstrating the complexity of regional politics in an interconnected Mediterranean world, where geography, population, and cultural priorities shaped the decisions of rulers and citizens alike. And in Athens, a remarkable experiment in governance emerged, as democratic principles took root under leaders such as Solon, Cleisthenes, and Pericles, creating a system where citizens participated in decision-making, lawmaking, and civic life, a revolutionary concept that contrasted sharply with monarchies and oligarchies, and which fostered intellectual freedom, civic responsibility, public debate, and a flourishing of arts and literature, producing philosophers, dramatists, historians, and architects whose works continue to inspire modern thought. And in Sparta, by contrast, a rigid militaristic society prioritized discipline, loyalty, and martial excellence, producing soldiers whose training began in childhood and whose commitment to the state surpassed personal desire, creating a powerful military machine capable of defending territory, projecting influence, and instilling fear across the region, and whose social and political systems, while starkly different from democratic Athens, demonstrated another path toward societal cohesion, survival, and regional dominance. And beyond Greece, the Persian Empire continued to exert tremendous influence, stretching across vast territories from the Indus Valley to the Aegean, unifying diverse cultures under an administrative system designed for efficiency, tolerance, and centralized governance, with standardized currency, provincial safety, and roads facilitating trade, communication, and political stability, demonstrating that successful empires required both military strength and administrative innovation, and setting a precedent for future civilizations seeking to manage multicultural populations. And as these empires expanded, cultural exchange intensified, as art, architecture, literature, science, and religion traveled along trade routes, influencing neighboring societies and creating hybrid forms of expression that reflected the interconnectedness of the ancient world. And while these interactions brought knowledge and prosperity, they also generated competition, rivalry, and conflict, highlighting the delicate balance between cooperation and contest in shaping history. And in the intellectual realm, Greek thinkers began laying the foundations of philosophy, mathematics, science, and medicine, with figures such as Thales, Pythagoras, Herodotus, Hippocrates, and Plato questioning the natural world, human behavior, ethics, and governance, formalizing systems of thought that combined observation, logic, and reasoning. And their inquiries not only advanced knowledge in their own time, but but provided enduring frameworks for inquiry that continue to influence modern disciplines. And simultaneously, literature and drama flourished, as playwrights like Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides explored themes of morality, human ambition, divine justice, and societal norms, while poets and historians recorded heroic deeds, political struggles, and cultural traditions, demonstrating that narrative, storytelling, and public performance were central to shaping communal identity, cultural memory, and civic engagement. And while intellectual and artistic achievements thrived, military innovation continued to redefine power with Greek phalanxes, Persian cavalry, advanced siege techniques, naval warfare, and combined arms strategies, illustrating that success in both offense and defense required careful planning, discipline, and adaptation, and that military prowess was inseparable from political stability and economic control. And during this period, trade and economy expanded significantly, linking the Mediterranean, Anatolia, Mesopotamia, Egypt, and beyond, as merchants, artisans, and travelers exchanged not only commodities such as wine, olive oil, textiles, metals, and spices, but also ideas, artistic techniques, and religious beliefs, fostering cultural synthesis and encouraging societies to adopt foreign practices while adapting them to local contexts, illustrating the dual forces of influence and adaptation that shaped classical civilizations. And alongside commerce, religion and spirituality continued to shape society. From polytheistic traditions in Greece and Egypt to Zoroastrianism in Persia, each system providing ethical guidance, social cohesion, political legitimacy, and explanations for natural phenomena, while ritual, festival, and temple life created both personal meaning and public spectacle, reinforcing the values and identity of communities, while legitimizing the authority of rulers and elites. And ordinary people, the farmers, artisans, laborers, soldiers, and merchants remained the backbone of these civilizations, sustaining agriculture, producing goods, defending cities, and maintaining social cohesion, demonstrating that history is not only shaped by kings and generals, but by the cumulative efforts of countless individuals whose daily lives enable the progress and continuity of societies. And as civilizations grew in complexity, urban planning, architecture, and engineering became increasingly sophisticated, with monumental temples, public spaces, aqueducts, theaters, and roads reflecting both aesthetic sensibilities and functional necessities, combining beauty, durability, and symbolism to showcase civic pride, religious devotion, and political authority, illustrating that the built environment was both a practical tool and a statement of identity and ambition. And at the same time, environmental factors continued to influence human development, with societies adapting to river systems, mountains, coastlines, climate variations, and agricultural limitations, showing that human ingenuity was often tested by the natural world, and that sustainable management of resources, infrastructure, and population was essential for long-term stability. And as Chapter 4, Part 1 concludes, we recognize this era as a turning point, where classical civilizations reached unprecedented levels of political sophistication, cultural achievement, intellectual exploration, military organization, and social complexity, creating models for governance, philosophy, art, architecture, science, and civic life that resonate through history, reminding us that the legacy of these societies is both a record of human accomplishment and a guide for understanding the interplay of ambition, creativity, resilience, and adaptation that continues to define human progress across the ages. The classical world continues to expand in complexity, where the political, intellectual, and cultural achievements of earlier civilizations are tested, refined, and transformed through a combination of internal innovation, external pressures, and intercultural exchange, revealing how human societies balance ambition, governance, creativity, and resilience in the face of challenges, both natural and human-made. And at the forefront of this era were the Greek city-states, which not only consolidated power internally, but also projected influence outward through colonization, trade, and military ventures, establishing settlements across the Mediterranean and Black Sea regions that facilitated the spread of Greek language, culture, political ideas, and technological practices, creating a web of interconnected communities whose shared heritage fostered both unity and competition. And within Greece itself, political experimentation continued, with Athens refining its democratic institutions while Sparta maintained a rigid, militaristic society, Corinth and Thebes navigating oligarchic governance, and smaller polities experimenting with hybrid models, illustrating the diversity of political thought and the profound effect that governance structures have on social stability, economic development, and cultural productivity, as the choices of citizens and leaders shaped the trajectory of city-states for generations. And simultaneously, Greek philosophy and science reached remarkable heights as thinkers such as Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and Hippocrates explored ethics, metaphysics, natural phenomena, medicine, and the principles of reasoning, creating systems of knowledge that sought not only to explain the world, but also to guide human behavior, governance, and education, demonstrating the enduring human desire to understand existence and to cultivate wisdom through observation, reflection, and debate. And while intellectual pursuits flourished, artistic and literary achievements transformed public life as playwrights, sculptors, painters, and architects created enduring masterpieces. From tragedies and comedies performed in amphitheaters to statues, temples, and public monuments that combined aesthetic beauty with symbolic meaning, reflecting societal values, religious devotion, and civic pride, while also influencing neighboring cultures and later generations. And on the battlefield, military innovation continued to shape the classical era, with the Greek phalanx, Persian cavalry, and fortified city-states demonstrating how strategy, discipline, technology, and logistics determined success or failure, while naval power increasingly became crucial in controlling trade routes, projecting influence, and securing coastal regions, showing that the ability to adapt and innovate in warfare was essential to survival and dominance. And beyond Greece, the Persian Empire remained a dominant power. Its sophisticated administrative systems, efficient taxation, standardized currency, expansive road networks, and culturally tolerant governance, creating stability across a vast and diverse territory, while simultaneously fostering communication, trade, and cultural exchange between Europe, the Near East, and South Asia, illustrating the importance of organization, infrastructure, and policy in sustaining large empires. And in the Mediterranean, Phoenician maritime expertise and trading networks continued to facilitate the movement of goods, people, and ideas, spreading technological innovations, artistic styles, religious practices, and cultural norms across regions, demonstrating that commerce was not merely an economic activity, but a vector for intellectual and cultural connectivity, enabling societies to learn from and influence one another while competing for resources and markets. And in parallel, classical India was experiencing transformative developments as early kingdoms such as Magadha and the Mauryan predecessors laid foundations for political unification, administrative sophistication, urban growth, trade networks, and philosophical systems that would later give rise to the Mauryan Empire, while simultaneously producing advances in mathematics, astronomy, architecture, art, and literature, illustrating that the evolution of complex societies was a global phenomenon occurring across multiple continents simultaneously. And in East Asia, the Zhou dynasty's political structure, legal codes, philosophical debates, and technological innovations set the stage for enduring cultural traditions, while intellectual movements such as Confucianism and Taoism provided guidance on governance, social order, ethics, and harmony with nature, highlighting how philosophy and religion were deeply intertwined with political life and cultural development. And as civilizations grew increasingly interconnected, trade networks expanded to include luxury goods, essential commodities, and rare resources, while simultaneously fostering the transmission of knowledge, artistic techniques, religious ideas, and scientific discoveries, making economic activity a primary driver of cultural diffusion, innovation, and societal adaptation, and illustrating that the prosperity and longevity of civilizations depended upon both domestic productivity and participation in regional and global exchange. And ordinary life continued to provide the foundation for these complex societies. As farmers cultivated fields, artisans produced goods, merchants traversed trade routes, soldiers defended territories, and families preserved traditions, language, and local knowledge, emphasizing that history is the cumulative story of both the famous and the everyday, and that progress arises not only from rulers and thinkers, but from the collective efforts of entire communities. And simultaneously, environmental conditions exerted a continuous influence on civilization, as soil fertility, water availability, climate fluctuations, river courses, and geographic constraints required adaptive strategies in agriculture, infrastructure, urban planning, and resource management, demonstrating that human ingenuity is constantly tested by the natural world, and that the success of societies depends upon their ability to respond effectively to environmental challenges. And during this period, monumental architecture continued to serve as both practical infrastructure and symbolic expression, with temples, theaters, aqueducts, fortifications, and public buildings combining utility, aesthetics, and cultural meaning, reflecting societal priorities, political legitimacy, religious devotion, and civic identity, while also inspiring neighboring regions to adapt, and innovate upon these architectural traditions, illustrating the cumulative nature of human creativity. And religion and spirituality remain central to life, shaping moral codes, social structures, governance, education, and ritual practice. As polytheistic and monotheistic traditions, philosophical movements, and syncretic systems provided meaning, order, and cohesion to diverse communities, reinforced through festivals, temples, sacred texts, and public ceremonies, demonstrating that belief systems are both a reflection of and a driver for cultural and social organization. And finally, as Chapter 4, Part 2 concludes, the classical world emerges as a vibrant, interconnected, and complex tapestry where political experimentation, intellectual achievement, military innovation, artistic expression, trade, cultural exchange, environmental adaptation, and daily life intertwine, illustrating the multifaceted forces that shaped human progress and creating the foundations for subsequent eras. From the rise of empires like Rome to the spread of philosophies and religions that continue to influence the modern world, reminding us that the classical period is both a testament to human ingenuity and a blueprint for understanding the dynamics of civilization across time. The classical world reaches a stage where the consolidation of political power, the refinement of cultural and intellectual achievements, and the intensification of trade and warfare intersect to create a dynamic environment of unprecedented human complexity, demonstrating how civilizations relied on careful balance between internal stability and external expansion, ambition and adaptation, innovation and tradition to shape enduring legacies. And in Greece, the city-states experienced both competition and cooperation, with Athens achieving remarkable heights in democracy, philosophy, architecture, art, and literature, producing thinkers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, whose inquiries into ethics, politics, metaphysics, and natural science laid the foundations of Western thought, while dramatists like Sophocles, Euripides, and Aristophanes explored human nature, societal norms, and moral dilemmas in public theaters, creating works that entertained, educated, and provoked civic reflection, demonstrating that intellectual and artistic pursuits were inseparable from public life. And Sparta, in contrast, maintained a rigid militaristic society that produced elite soldiers and disciplined citizens whose training and loyalty exemplified the values of order, courage, and communal responsibility, showing how different cultural priorities could produce equally powerful societies with contrasting forms of governance and social organization. And beyond Greece, the Persian Empire continued to integrate vast and diverse territories through an administrative system that balanced local autonomy with imperial oversight, standardized currency, extensive road networks, and efficient communication, allowing trade, cultural exchange, and political control to flourish, while simultaneously inspiring military innovations in cavalry, archery, and siegecraft, demonstrating that empire building required both governance and force, and that the longevity of large states depended upon effective management of complex logistical, economic, and social systems. And in the Mediterranean, Phoenician maritime expertise facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies across distant ports, spreading artistic techniques, religious practices, and commercial innovations, while fostering early forms of cultural globalization, highlighting that trade was not merely an economic activity, but a catalyst for intellectual, technological, and social development across regions. and in the Indian subcontinent kingdoms, such as Magadha, experimented with political consolidation, administrative efficiency, urban planning, and trade networks, setting the stage for the Mauryan Empire, while simultaneously fostering advancements in philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, literature, and architecture, illustrating that classical civilizations were developing simultaneously across multiple continents, each contributing unique innovations while interacting indirectly through trade, migration, and cultural influence. And in East Asia, the Zhou dynasty continued to provide structural, philosophical, and technological foundations for later Chinese civilization, as Confucian, Taoist, and legalist thought guided social order, governance, education, and ethical reasoning, demonstrating that intellectual and moral frameworks were as crucial to societal stability as military strength and economic organization. And while these civilizations flourished, military technology and strategy evolved rapidly, with Greek phalanxes, Persian cavalry, siege engines, naval innovations, and complex logistics enabling empires and city-states to project power over vast territories, defend strategic points, and secure trade routes, highlighting the inseparable connection between martial capability and political authority, as well as the constant tension between cooperation and conflict in shaping the classical world. And simultaneous cultural exchange enriched societies, as artistic styles, architectural techniques, literary motifs, religious concepts, and technological practices traversed borders, creating hybrid forms that were both innovative and adaptive, illustrating that human creativity thrives in conditions of connectivity and interaction, while also demonstrating the persistence of local traditions that maintained identity amidst broader influence. And in literature, drama, philosophy, and historiography, civilizations codified knowledge, explored ethical and existential questions, preserved narratives of heroism and morality, and examined the causes and consequences of human actions, creating a rich intellectual heritage that informed civic life, moral education, and cultural memory, showing that written and oral traditions are powerful tools for both learning and social cohesion, and ordinary life remained foundational to these achievements, as farmers, artisans, merchants, soldiers, and families sustained the economic, social, and cultural infrastructure upon which civilizations depended, reminding us that history is constructed not only by rulers, generals, and philosophers, but by the collective contributions of countless individuals whose daily efforts allowed societies to thrive, innovate, and endure. And environmental factors, including river systems, fertile plains, climate variations, and natural resources, continued to shape societal development, requiring adaptive agricultural techniques, urban planning, resource management, and disaster mitigation, demonstrating that human resilience and ingenuity were constantly tested by the natural world, and that sustainable management of resources was critical for long-term stability. And monumental architecture, public works, and urban design flourished as societies constructed temples, theaters, roads, bridges, aqueducts, fortifications, and palaces that combined functional utility with aesthetic grandeur, symbolizing civic pride, religious devotion, political authority, and cultural identity, and inspiring neighboring societies to adopt and innovate upon these architectural traditions, illustrating the cumulative nature of human creativity and achievement. and religion and spirituality remained central to society, guiding moral codes, social behavior, governance, education, and ritual, with polytheistic, monotheistic, and philosophical systems providing meaning, cohesion, and legitimacy, reinforced through public ceremonies, festivals, sacred texts, and monumental structures, showing that belief systems both reflected and shaped the societies that practiced them. And finally, as Chapter 4, Part 3 concludes, the classical world emerges as an intricate, interconnected, and multifaceted system, where political innovation, intellectual achievement, military strategy, artistic expression, commerce, cultural exchange, environmental adaptation, and daily human life combined to produce enduring legacies, illustrating how the cumulative effects of ambition, creativity, resilience, and cooperation shaped the trajectory of civilizations and laid the foundations for the emergence of empires such as Rome, the spread of philosophical and religious ideas, and the continued evolution of human society across continents and centuries, serving as both a testament to human ingenuity and a guide for understanding the dynamics of civilization throughout history. The ancient world enters a period of profound transformation, where the consolidation of empires, the maturation of intellectual traditions, and the expansion of trade and cultural networks converge to create a landscape of unprecedented human achievement, revealing the intricate interplay between political ambition, economic strategy, military innovation, artistic expression, and social organization that defines the trajectory of civilizations. And at the forefront of these developments, Rome emerges from its modest beginnings as a small Italic settlement to become a dominant force in the Mediterranean. Its early political institutions evolving from monarchy to republic, with checks and balances, elected magistrates, and representative assemblies that allowed citizens a voice in governance, while simultaneously cultivating an expansionist ethos that would drive military conquest, territorial integration, and cultural influence across a vast region, demonstrating the combination of political ingenuity and strategic foresight required for empire building. And while Rome was consolidating power, the Hellenistic world, born from the conquests of Alexander the Great, continued to spread Greek culture, language, philosophy, scientific knowledge, and artistic traditions across Egypt, Mesopotamia, Persia, India, and the Mediterranean, creating a cosmopolitan environment where local traditions blended with Greek ideas, fostering cross-cultural exchange, intellectual innovation, and artistic synthesis that shaped the development of cities, educational systems, religious practices, and civic life across multiple continents, highlighting the transformative impact of cultural diffusion. And simultaneously, in the East, the Mauryan Empire in India established an unprecedented level of political unification, administrative efficiency, and economic integration under leaders such as Chandragupta Maurya and Ashoka, whose emphasis on centralized governance, legal codification, trade facilitation, infrastructure development, and moral philosophy through Dharma and Buddhism created a model of statecraft that balanced authority, social cohesion, and ethical governance, demonstrating that the principles of law, morality, and administration are critical to the stability and prosperity of large societies. And in China, the Zhou dynasty gave way to the Warring States period, where competing kingdoms tested strategies of governance, military organization, diplomacy, philosophy, and technology, producing the intellectual foundations of Confucianism, Taoism, legalism, and other schools of thought, while innovations in metal, agriculture, and weaponry reshaped society, illustrating the inseparable connection between technological progress, political experimentation, and philosophical inquiry in shaping human civilization. And across the Mediterranean, economic networks continued to expand, linking Italy, Greece, Egypt, Phoenicia, Anatolia, and North Africa, facilitating the movement of essential commodities, luxury goods, metals, textiles, spices, and agricultural products, while also circulating ideas, technologies, religious beliefs, and artistic motifs, making commerce a powerful driver of cultural connectivity, intellectual development, and societal adaptation, and demonstrating that trade was a central pillar of economic, social, and political power, and military innovation remained a decisive factor. As Roman legions perfected discipline, strategy, and engineering capabilities, Hellenistic armies deployed advanced formations, siegecraft, and combined arms tactics, and Eastern empires developed cavalry, archery, and logistical coordination, showing that military effectiveness required organization, training, innovation, and strategic foresight, and that the fate of empires often depended on their ability to integrate technology, manpower, and leadership in both offense and defense. And while political and military structures evolved, intellectual and cultural achievements flourished as historians, philosophers, mathematicians, astronomers, physicians, and engineers produced works that documented knowledge, explained natural phenomena, explored ethical questions, and solved practical problems, creating an enduring legacy of inquiry, experimentation, and creativity that informed governance, civic life, and cultural identity, illustrating that human curiosity and the pursuit of knowledge are foundational to the development of civilization, and literature, theater, and art continued to enrich societies as dramatists, poets, sculptors, painters, and architects created enduring expressions of beauty, morality, and civic pride, while monumental architecture such as temples, forums, palaces, theaters, aqueducts, and fortifications combined aesthetic sophistication with functional utility, symbolizing both the cultural and political achievements of civilizations and providing tangible evidence of human ambition, ingenuity, and resilience. And ordinary people, the farmers, artisans, traders, laborers, and soldiers remained the backbone of society, sustaining economies, producing goods, cultivating land, defending territories, maintaining social cohesion, and transmitting traditions, values, and knowledge, emphasizing that the progress of civilizations depends as much on the cumulative efforts of common individuals as on the decisions of rulers and elites, showing that history is both top-down and bottom-up in its construction, and religion, philosophy, and moral frameworks continued to shape societies, guiding ethical behavior, reinforcing social norms, legitimizing political authority, inspiring artistic and architectural achievements, and providing a sense of purpose and identity as polytheistic, monotheistic, and philosophical systems coexisted, competed, and evolved, illustrating the deep connection between belief, governance, and culture, and environmental factors remained a critical influence. As civilizations adapted to rivers, mountains, and climate variations, implementing irrigation, agricultural techniques, urban planning, and resource management strategies, demonstrating that human ingenuity and resilience are constantly tested by the natural world, and that sustainable interaction with the environment is essential for long-term stability and prosperity. And as Chapter 5, Part 1 concludes, the ancient world stands as a testament to human creativity, ambition, and adaptability, where political innovation, military strategy, economic networks, cultural achievements, intellectual inquiry, environmental adaptation, and daily human activity intersect to create complex, interconnected societies, laying the groundwork for the expansion of Rome, the enduring influence of Hellenistic culture, the spread of Buddhism, the philosophical foundations of China, and the continued growth of trade and cultural exchange, illustrating that the forces shaping history, ambition, creativity, resilience, cooperation, and adaptation remain universal constants in the story of human civilization, guiding both the past and the future. The ancient world continues to evolve into a period marked by consolidation, innovation, and unprecedented interconnectivity, where empires, city-states, and kingdoms increasingly interact through warfare, trade, diplomacy, and cultural exchange, creating a tapestry of human achievement that demonstrates both the heights of ambition and the fragility of complex societies. And Rome, now a burgeoning republic, transitioning into an imperial power, refined its political institutions, codified laws, developed infrastructure, and organized a disciplined military that enabled territorial expansion, while simultaneously fostering civic identity, legal precedent, and cultural assimilation, demonstrating that successful governance requires both administrative skill and social cohesion, and that political structures must adapt to changing circumstances to ensure the stability and longevity of an empire. And in the Hellenistic world, the fusion of Greek culture with local traditions across Egypt, Mesopotamia, Persia, and Central Asia produced a cosmopolitan environment in which philosophy, art, science, and religion thrived, leading to advancements in astronomy, mathematics, medicine, architecture, literature, and urban planning, while the spread of Greek language and civic practices facilitated communication and integration across diverse populations, illustrating that cultural hybridity can generate both innovation and societal cohesion. And in the Indian subcontinent, the Mauryan Empire under Ashoka emphasized centralized administration, moral governance, and ethical leadership guided by Buddhist principles, promoting public works, trade networks, infrastructure, legal codes, and social welfare, which not only strengthened internal cohesion, but also influenced neighboring regions through diplomacy, missionary activity, and the promotion of moral and ethical conduct, demonstrating that the power of ideas and ethical frameworks can be as transformative as military conquest. And in China, the Warring States period gradually gave way to imperial unification under the Qin dynasty, with legalist governance, centralized bureaucracy, standardized currency, script, weights, measures, and large-scale infrastructure. Projects such as roads and defensive walls establishing the foundations for enduring statecraft, while Confucian, Taoist, and other philosophical traditions guided social order, education, and ethical conduct, illustrating the interplay between philosophy, governance, and societal stability. And across the Mediterranean, trade networks connected the Italian peninsula, Greek city-states, Phoenician ports, North Africa, Egypt, and the Near East, facilitating the movement of goods such as metals, textiles, spices, and luxury items, while simultaneously enabling the exchange of knowledge, technology, religious beliefs, and artistic practices, showing that commerce not only sustains economies, but also drives cultural diffusion, technological innovation, and diplomatic relationships, and that prosperity often depends on both domestic productivity and international connectivity. And military innovations continued to reshape the balance of power, or as Roman legions refined tactics, discipline, and engineering capabilities. Hellenistic armies employed advanced formations, siegecraft, and combined arms strategies. Mauryan armies integrated cavalry, war elephants, and logistics. And Chinese armies developed crossbows, chariots, and strategic fortifications, highlighting that military strength is both a product and a determinant of political authority, social cohesion, and territorial stability, and that civilizations must constantly adapt their strategies to shifting threats and opportunities. And intellectual life flourished as scholars, philosophers, historians, engineers, physicians, and mathematicians across civilizations documented knowledge, formulated theories, conducted experiments, and transmitted insights that would influence generations to come, demonstrating that the pursuit of knowledge is a unifying force across cultures, and that intellectual achievement often parallels political, economic, and military expansion. And literature, drama, sculpture, painting, and architecture continued to express civic ideals, religious devotion, and human creativity, as monumental temples, theaters, palaces, aqueducts, and city planning projects reflected both functional necessity and symbolic significance, while inspiring neighboring cultures to adopt, adapt, and innovate, illustrating the cumulative nature of human cultural achievement and the enduring impact of artistic vision on civilization. And ordinary life remained the foundation of these societies, with farmers cultivating land, artisans producing goods, merchants facilitating trade, soldiers defending territories, and families passing on knowledge, values, and traditions, reminding us that the continuity and prosperity of civilizations depend as much on the efforts of ordinary individuals as on the ambitions of rulers and elites, and that the story of history is both collective and individual, and religion, philosophy, and ethical systems continued to shape civic life, legal frameworks, education, and cultural norms guiding behavior, reinforcing social cohesion, legitimizing political authority, inspiring art and architecture, and creating a shared sense of purpose and identity as polytheistic, monotheistic, and philosophical traditions coexisted, competed, and evolved, demonstrating the inseparable connection between belief systems and societal development. And environmental factors, mountains, plains, seas, climate variations, and natural resources continued to influence human activity, requiring adaptive agricultural techniques, urban planning, water management, and disaster mitigation, highlighting the constant interplay between human ingenuity and the natural world, and the necessity of sustainable practices to ensure long-term stability and prosperity. And as Chapter 5, Part 2 draws to a close, the ancient world emerges as a rich, interconnected, and dynamic system where political innovation, military organization, economic networks, intellectual inquiry, artistic achievement, cultural exchange, environmental adaptation, and everyday human activity converged to produce enduring legacies, laying the groundwork for the rise of imperial Rome, the expansion of trade and cultural networks, the spread of philosophical and religious ideas, and the continued evolution of complex societies, showing that ambition, creativity, resilience, cooperation, and adaptation are timeless forces that shape the course of human history and illuminate the intricate patterns of civilization across time and space. The exploration of the ancient world, the era of classical civilizations, emerges as a remarkable tapestry of political ambition, military innovation, intellectual achievement, cultural expression, economic interconnection, and social complexity, illustrating how human societies, despite geographical separation, environmental constraints, and internal challenges, simultaneously pursued advancement, cohesion, and influence, creating legacies that continue to resonate in modern civilization. And at the forefront of this transformation, Rome evolves into a dominant power, consolidating territories across the Mediterranean and beyond, integrating diverse peoples through citizenship, law, and infrastructure, while its legions, disciplined and strategically adept, project authority and ensure security across a vast and varied landscape, demonstrating the inseparable link between military organization, administrative governance, and societal stability, and showing how the careful balance of power, civic responsibility, and cultural integration forms the foundation for enduring empire. And concurrently, the Hellenistic kingdoms, born from the campaigns of Alexander the Great, maintain vibrant cultural, scientific, and artistic life, as cities from Alexandria to Pergamon become centers of learning, philosophy, and innovation, where libraries, academies, theaters, and observatories host thinkers, astronomers, mathematicians, and artists whose ideas travel across regions, blending Greek intellectual traditions with local knowledge, producing hybrid forms of literature, science, and visual art, and demonstrating that cultural diffusion is both a product of conquest and a driver of creativity, social cohesion, and technological progress. And in the Indian subcontinent, the Mauryan Empire reaches its zenith, as Ashoka's emphasis on moral governance, infrastructure, trade, legal codification, and dissemination of Buddhism strengthens internal cohesion, promotes social welfare, and encourages intercultural dialogue, highlighting the enduring importance of ethical leadership, strategic planning, and philosophical frameworks in shaping the prosperity and stability of complex societies. And in East Asia, Chinese states, transitioning from the Warring States period to imperial unification under the Qin and Han dynasties, developed standardized legal systems, centralized bureaucracies, vast infrastructure networks, and advances in science, engineering, and agriculture, while philosophical traditions such as Confucianism, Taoism, and legalism guide governance, ethical conduct, and education, demonstrating that long-term stability and societal progress require the integration of political, technological, and intellectual innovation. And across the broader Mediterranean and Near East, trade networks flourish, connecting ports, cities, and hinterlands with the movement of goods, ideas, technologies, religious beliefs, and cultural practices, illustrating that economic vitality is inseparable from cultural exchange, diplomatic negotiation, and military security, and showing that prosperity in classical civilizations depends upon both internal organization and external connectivity, and military innovation remains critical as armies refine strategy, discipline, siege, and logistics, integrating cavalry, infantry, war elephants, crossbows, naval fleets, and advanced weaponry, demonstrating that military capability not only determines the survival and expansion of states, but also influences governance, infrastructure, and societal organization, highlighting the constant interdependence of power, technology, and human ingenuity. And intellectual and artistic achievement thrives as scholars, historians, philosophers, engineers, architects, dramatists, and artists across regions document knowledge, explore ethical and metaphysical questions, create monumental structures, and compose literary masterpieces that endure across centuries, demonstrating that human creativity and inquiry are central to the development of culture, identity, and civic life, and that intellectual and aesthetic innovation often parallel political and economic expansion, and ordinary people, the farmers, artisans, traders, laborers, and soldiers remain the foundation of these societies, cultivating land, producing goods, sustaining economies, defending territories, and transmitting cultural knowledge, illustrating that the achievements of civilizations are cumulative results of collective effort, and that history is shaped not only by leaders and thinkers, but also by the countless contributions of individuals, whose daily labor enables societal continuity and progress. And religion, philosophy, and ethical systems continue to shape governance, law, education, social norms, and cultural identity, with polytheistic, monotheistic, and philosophical traditions guiding moral behavior, reinforcing social cohesion, inspiring monumental works of art and architecture, and providing frameworks for understanding human existence, illustrating the profound influence of belief on both individual and societal development, and environmental factors including rivers, mountains, seas, plains, and climate variability remain critical determinants of human activity, necessitating agricultural innovation, urban planning, water management, and disaster mitigation, demonstrating that human resilience, adaptation, and foresight are essential to the sustainability of civilizations, and that long-term prosperity depends on harmonious interaction with the natural world. And as Chapter 5, Part 3 closes, the classical world stands as a testament to human ingenuity, ambition, resilience, and creativity, where political institutions, military systems, intellectual inquiry, artistic expression, economic networks, cultural exchange, environmental adaptation, and daily life converge to produce enduring legacies, laying the foundation for imperial Rome, the spread of philosophy and religion, the continued integration of global trade networks, and the evolution of governance, education, and culture, revealing that the forces driving civilization, ambition, innovation, cooperation, and adaptation are universal, timeless, and central to understanding the enduring patterns of human history across regions and epochs.